Hi, welcome back to my channel once again. Today I'm going to be teaching how to cut and sew this off-shoulder top. If you're interested in it, kindly watch till the end. Let's get started. I'm going to be using the basic bodice block, that is the front pattern. I'll start with the front. So I'll be starting from the bust point. At the center front of the bust point, I'm going up by 2.5 inches. You can decide to go up by 1 or you can start from the bust point. It depends on you. And from the shoulder, I'll be coming down by 4 inches. So after that, I'll go ahead and then connect from that point to that point with the help of my my skirt curve. So after that, I'll go ahead and then work on the lower part of the dress. So on the waistline from the center front line, I'm coming down by 3.5 inches. You can come down by 4 or 5 inches. It depends on you. So I'll connect from that point to the waistline at the side seam, So after connecting, this is all we'll be needing for the front part of the dress. So I'll go ahead and then cut it out. So after cutting it out, this is what we have, and the front part will be cutting one piece. So I'm labeling it cut 1 because it will be cut on fold. At this point, I'll go ahead and then work on the back bodice. So remember the shoulder for the front, we came down by 4 inches. We are going to repeat the same step for the back, and at the center back, I'm going to go up for about 2 inches. This solely depends on you, how deep you want the back to be. You can decide to come down or go up, however you want it to be. So from that point, I'll go ahead and then connect with my skirt curve again. I want my back to be high, that is why I went up, but you can decide to come down if you want. At the center back, I'll go ahead and mark 3.5 because I did same for the front. You can decide to put this pattern, the front pattern, on it just to trace the curve. So this is how you can do it. And another way is to just connect from that point to the waist line. So that is it for the back as well. I'll go ahead and then cut out. So when cutting out, make sure the part for the zip is straight like I've done. Then I'll go ahead and then cut it out. So after cutting it out, this is what I have for the front and then back. Remember, we are cutting 2 for the back because there's going to be a zipper at the back. So we are cutting 1 for the front, which is on fold, and then cutting 2 for the back. At this point, I'll go ahead and then place my pattern pieces on my fashion fabric. Note, we are cutting on both fashion fabric and then lining fabric. Then make sure you identify the wrong side of the fabric so you don't make mistakes. So I'll go ahead and then pin my pattern pieces on the fashion fabric and then cut out. So before cutting out, I'm going to be adding my seam allowances to it. At the side seam, I'll go ahead and then add 1.5 inches. You can add from 1 to 2 inches, however you want it to be. And for the upper part and the lower part and the armhole, it's going to be ½ inches. So after marking my side seams, I'll go ahead and then cut out. So whilst cutting out, I'll be adding my ½ inches to it, as you can see me doing. It's always advisable to pin them down. To pin the patterns down in order for cutting to be easy and for you not to be making mistakes. So at this point, I'm almost done cutting, and this is what I have for both front and then back. So if it was on fold, make sure you cut out the back like I've done. So I went ahead to cut it on my lining fabric as well, and I've traced the dot on the fashion fabric and then the lining fabric. So I'll just go ahead and then fold the dot, take it to my machine and stitch. So I'm going to be pinning for both front and then back, because we have that at both front and then back, and then on the lining fabric as well. So at this point I went ahead to pin them down, as you can see, to stitch, and this is what I have. With right side facing each other, I'm going to be putting the lining fabric on the fashion fabric and then stitch the upper part of the dress, that is the neckline. So we are going to be doing this for both front and then back. So after pinning, I'll just go ahead and then stitch and then show you what to do next. So after stitching, this is what I have, and I'll go ahead and then notch the stitched part. This is to enable the fabric lie flat when you turn it out. So make sure you notch both front and then back. And when notching, make sure you don't cut through the fabric, otherwise you make mistakes. So after notching, I'll go ahead and then turn it out. As you can see, this is what I have, and I'll go ahead and then place my seam allowance on it. Remember, I added 1.5 seam allowance, so I'll go ahead and then add it to it on both sides. So after adding my seam allowance, I'll go ahead and then place the back on it. Note I added a seam allowance on the front part, so I'll go ahead and then add the back to it and then pin. After pinning, I'll take it to the machine and then stitch, then show you what to do next. So you can see I'm taking my time to pin. This is because I don't want one part to be longer than the other. I want every part to match. That is the reason why I always pin my work. So take your time and then pin to get a neat work. So after stitching, this is what I have. So at this point, this is what I have, and I'll be folding it into two. Watch this closely. So you can pin if you want to get it accurate, or however you want to do it, make sure it is accurate. So I'm going to measure from that point to the pointy part in front. I have about 17 inches. So after getting my 17 inches, or whatever you got, go ahead and then multiply it by 4 or 5 times. So I am using 16 inches plus 30 inches, making 90 inches, and the length is about 13 inches, which I later reduced to 10 inches because 13 was too long. So I went ahead to fold the lower part of it, and then I made gathering stitches at the upper part, which I'll be pulling. So when making gathers, make sure you make 3 lines. Make 3 basting stitches in order to pull, or in order for it not to tear when pulling out. In case one tears off, you have about 2 left, which can help you. So take your time and then pull the gathers and then make sure they are all the same. So at this point, I'm going to be folding the ends of the gathers I just made. But with this tutorial, I'm folding only one part. So from here, I'll go ahead and then fold. So I'll go ahead and then put the guidance on it, as you can see me doing, the folded part. So put it at the pointy part or the center front of the dress. So start pinning from the center front and then pin at the ends of it, that's where the zip will be. So after pinning both ends, now you can pin this part. Take your time and pin, and then make sure everything is intact and one is no longer than the other. The lining and then the fashion fabric and the garter should all be the same. So as you can see, I'm taking my time to do this, and then after pinning this, I'll go ahead and then work on the other side. Note we are repeating the same steps for the other side as well. So at this point, I'm done with one part, and I'll go ahead and then repeat the process on the other side. So after pinning, I took it to the machine and then stitched it down. So take your time when stitching, because you are stitching 3 layers of fabric. Take your time when stitching. So after stitching, I'll go ahead and then take off the pins and then show you what I have. So after taking off the pins, this is what I have, and you can see the dress is taking shape at this point. So at this point, I'll go ahead and then work on the sleeves. So the length of the sleeves depends on you. From the upper part of the sleeve, I'll go ahead and then mark 1 inch. This is because there will be an elastic at the upper part, so I'm marking 1 inch, which will be used for the elastic. So like I said, the length of the sleeve depends on you, how you want it to be, but I'm using about 13.5 inches. So that is it. So now from that point, I'll go ahead and then mark about 14 inches. Note that part depends on you, how you want your garters to be. You can make it bigger than 14 if you want. And then from that point, I'll go ahead and then mark about 4 or 4.5 inches. You can mark up to 5 or 5.5 inches, depending on how big you are. So from that point, I'll go ahead and then connect the points together. So after connecting, this is how it looks like. So I'll go ahead and then make a curve down there. Because it will be puff sleeve, there is no need to measure the other side. So I'll go ahead and then cut it off. So after cutting it off, I'll go ahead and then fold the upper part 1 inch down, and then the lower part, I'll do the same thing to it. So fold 1 inch at the lower part and then at the upper part, like I have done. So after doing this, I'll go ahead and then insert my seam allowance, which is 1 inch. Because it is puff sleeve, 1 inch seam allowance is okay. So after that, I'll go ahead then join the lines together. Now it's time to put in the elastics. So measure your around arm measurement and then measure your around sleeve measurements. Remember, we took 4 inches from the pattern when drafting the off shoulder, so that 4 inch will be replaced. So 4 plus 4 is 8 inches plus 1 inch sewing allowance, which is 9. If you want it to be tight, rather subtract 1 or 2 inches from it. Where the off shoulder is. Don't add up. if you want it to be tight. So that is it. At this point, I'll go ahead and then insert the elastics in at the upper and then lower part of the sleeve. So after putting in the elastic, make sure you pin the ends in order for it not to come off. So when I'm done pinning, I'll go ahead and then join the sides together and then stitch. And at the upper part of the sleeve, make sure you secure the ends of the elastic. You stitch it down before fixing it to the sleeve. So like I said, I am done at this point. Then I'll go ahead and then join the ends together like this. Take it to the machine and then stitch. You can see I'm taking my time to do this. This is for me to get an accurate, or I want my work to come out neat and then nice. So after pinning, just stitch that 1 inch down. So at this point, I went ahead to stitch, and this is what I have. So I'll go ahead and then join it to the blouse. So match the center parts together and then the two sides together, then pin them down. So after pinning them down, I'll go ahead and then stitch. Note we are doing this on both sides. Because of the tutorials, I'll only show you one part of it. So repeat the same step at the other side of the sleeve. So when you're working and you realize either the armhole of the sleeve or the armhole of the blouse is bigger, you can go ahead and then trim it off before fixing the sleeve. So after fixing the sleeves, this is what I have, and you can see the work is almost done. So the last part of this tutorial will be the zip. So I'm folding 1 inch in on both sides of the the center back. Then I'll go ahead and then fix my zip. So after fixing the zip, this is what I have, and you can see the work is complete. So don't forget to like, comment, and share my videos. Please like and subscribe to my channel. So see you another time. Bye.